I am about to call the FBI field office here in Cheyenne. Keep in mind, this is a federal organization, so they should be able to do the investigating that needs to be done. They've repeatedly refused before, but this is a different office. These guys don't work closely with the Colorado police, so they have no reason to cover up for those officers, except professional courtesy. That's what they call it when they turn a blind eye. Professional courtesy. So, we'll see if these assholes are professionally courteous or if they're real law enforcement. Now, traditionally, you like how I say that? Yeah, I've made a lot of calls to the FBI. Traditionally, it takes an hour for them to answer. Being on hold for an hour kind of sucks. So I'm going to probably pause this for a very long period of time. We'll see.
Hello, you've reached the Cheyenne Resident Agency of the Denver Division FBI. If you have a crime tip or complaint to report, please press 1. For all other inquiries, please press 2.
We'll press 1.
Hello. Thank you for calling the FBI. This is not a 911 service for taking emergency calls. For emergencies, please call 911.
I tried that.
Este mensaje en español. Por favor, oprima el número 1.
911 has never worked.
In a few moments, you will be connected to an operator. This call will be recorded for quality assurance, investigative, or other purposes. If you do not wish to be recorded, please hang up and submit your tip online at TIPS.
I record everything, motherfucker.
.gov.
I'm fine with being recorded.
During this call, you will be asked to provide identifying information about yourself and or the persons about whom you are calling. We use this information to assist in investigating your tip. You do not have to provide your name or other personal information. However, the lack of information may delay or hurt our ability to investigate your tip. Any information you provide may be used for authorized purposes. To report a suspicious email, hacked email, internet scam, or ID theft, press 1. To report a tip about a threat to human life, serious bodily injury, or significant violent action, press 2. To report a tip,
I pressed 2.
please provide the zip code of the area you are calling from now.
I don't know where I'm at, so I'm not sure what the zip code
sorry,
is.
we did not get your response.
I'm in Cheyenne, Wyoming.
Please provide the zip code of the area you are calling from now.
I'm looking it up on my third phone.
One moment while I transfer you to the next available representative. Your call will now be recorded. At this time, we are experiencing a high volume of calls with longer wait times. You can now get immediate service by visiting us at tips.fbi.gov, which can take online tips 24 hours a day. Your online form will be processed by the FBI for further investigation.
Like hell it will. I've already tried that. Alright, so the time is now 2:49.
time, we are experiencing a high volume of calls with longer wait times. You can now get immediate service by visiting us at tips.fbi.gov, which can take online tips 24 hours a day. Your online form will be processed by the FBI for further investigation.
Bullshit. If that worked, I wouldn't be calling. Time to pause, I guess.
Seeing a high volume of calls with longer wait times. You can now get immediate service by visiting us at tips.fbi.gov, which can take online tips 24 hours a day. Your online form will be processed by the FBI for further investigation.
Thank you for calling the FBI. May I have your name and telephone number to start out?
Yes, sir. My name is Sean David Schwartz. My phone number is...
Okay. Now, would you spell your first name for me?
S-H-A-W-N.
Okay, and that middle name is a traditional spelling of David?
Yes, sir. D-A-V-I-D.
Okay, and then that last name like German for black?
Yes, sir. S-C-H-W-A-R-T-Z.
Okay, and what's your date of birth?
October 18th, 1980.
Okay, and the last thing I need before we get started here is your address, please.
Well, that's the thing. I'm actually homeless now.
Okay, what community are you staying in?
I'm currently in Cheyenne, Wyoming. However, I have reports to make mostly about Colorado as well as Nebraska.
Okay, and what's going on in Colorado and Nebraska?
Alright, well, I had a friend of mine who passed away December of 2017. I had been threatened, harassed, had my name slandered, been assaulted, and had the police refuse to take my report on multiple occasions in the state of Colorado, state of Nebraska, and state of Virginia. Police across the state of Colorado took part in threatening and harassing me after the death of Natalie Bollinger. And before the death of Natalie Bollinger, they were invested in not doing their jobs. Since then, police across the state of Colorado have taken part in threatening, harassing, and intimidating my friends and family and anybody who tried to help. There are at least seven groups on Facebook that are supposed to be dedicated to Natalie Bollinger that are actually Sean Schwartz hate groups. Police across the state of Colorado and Nebraska refused to take a report from me and ended up slandering my name, lying to me, assaulting me, and charging me with assault. Because of my disabilities, it's difficult for me to do the things that they require me to do. I had disability coming in, but because of negligence from the courts in Colorado, my disability was taken away. I was forced to do illegal things to protect myself because the police would not do their jobs. I even tried to kill myself to protect my
your
friends.
description here, your narrative is very broad. I don't know the scene that you're describing. I don't know the situations. You're keeping it very broad, so I don't know how to determine the issue with what you're describing. So
Well,
I'm going to ask that you provide more specific situations here, okay?
All right, well, the fact that there's been hundreds of situations over this is kind of the reason that it's so broad. I really need somebody who can actually sit with me and take a look at the evidence. I literally threatened to kill...
I'm just looking for, what is it that these officers have done that you feel you need to report to the FBI?
Well, I guess we should start off with the officers in Chapel, Nebraska. In specific, Officer William Burr, who is a state patrol officer, Sheriff Scott DaCosta, Deputy Cody Selhorst, Deputy Jared Hahn, and Deputy Jordan Anderson. Jordan Anderson and at least one other officer in Chapel and 2 state patrol officers refused to take a report from me about the abuse and threats that I was enduring over... Natalie Bollinger was still alive at that point. They refused to take a report from me, told me that I needed to man up, told me they had real police work to do, and basically blew me off until she was dead. And then after she died, I tried to get those officers to do their jobs. They still refused outright. They refused to take a report from me, made every excuse that they could not to. Officer Jordan Anderson, I spoke with him for a 4th time after Natalie's death at my grandmother's funeral, while Alicia Bollinger, who is Natalie Bollinger's twin sister, and Ted Bollinger, who is Natalie Bollinger's father, who actually raped her on multiple occasions, got onto Alicia's YouTube, were being very threatening, were refusing to provide any evidence that Alicia was alive. Ted Bollinger is a very violent, volatile person with a history of drug use and a history of child abuse. So I was afraid for his daughter. They chose my grandmother's funeral to harass me. Officer Jordan Anderson did not take a report, even though there was a 911 call. Afterwards, the police in Chapel, Nebraska were very well invested in preventing that officer's wrongdoing from coming out, up to and including, well, they refused to take a report, sir. They even made fun of me on several occasions for trying. There have been hundreds of assaults and threats against my life as a result of what went on, and it could have all easily been taken care of by the police in Chapel, Nebraska doing their job. I knew Natalie Bollinger from Boulder, Colorado. She was suicidal. I went to Virginia at her request because she threatened to kill herself if I didn't. So I went. Her and her sister ended up slandering my name, and I left Virginia to get away from them and to go back to Boulder. But their slander reached Boulder before I did. There was a woman named Maddie Boa who was doing most of the rumor spreading. She was actually going to go to Virginia with me, but she was on probation for selling methamphetamines. When I got back to Boulder, her meth customers were going at me, and I wasn't able to see my loved ones as a result. The police in multiple states refused to take a report, and then after she was dead, the police in those states repeatedly refused to take a report from myself or anybody else on my behalf. Basically, they were just trying to cover their own wrongdoing by preventing me from making a report, preventing me from showing evidence, and refusing to look at that evidence. I have a list of names here of over 300 witnesses. I have screenshots, 8,000 screenshots of the threats, the harassment, the whole situation. There was also Officer Michael West of Boulder, Colorado. I was served a protection order over Natalie Bollinger just 2 weeks prior to her death. The judge in that case did a bunch of improper stuff on the paperwork. He should have reviewed it, and it's criminally negligent what he did. So I threatened to take him to court for what he did. He was later able to prevent me from being able to go to court to preside over 2 more cases that I was not allowed to go to over the Bollingers and their harassment. Basically, law enforcement across the state of Colorado and the public pretenders all did the same thing. They refused to take a look at any evidence. They refused to document the assaults or the abuse by the police or by the Bollingers or their friends or family, including a man named Dalton Crawford, a woman named Sarah Victoria Funderburg, etc., etc. The reason that I'm being so vague is because these things happen so many times. I could literally stay on the phone with you for a week and not cover all of the shit that these people pulled.
Okay, sir. Have you contacted an attorney about all this?
Sir, I've tried, but I'm homeless. Nobody gives a fuck about the homeless. And I was made homeless because of Natalie Bollinger's death.
What you're describing here is not something the FBI is going to get involved with. You have a good day.
Go fuck yourself, bitch. See, if you're homeless and you don't have the money for an attorney, they're not going to do their jobs. Their job is to take a look at this shit. Again, they outright refuse. Lovely. I'd like that fucking pig's name.